What's up, YouTube? It's your boy back at it again. Be sure to help a brother out by liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell. Um, this is a really exciting video right here. I seen little bits and pieces of it. I thought that you all would really want it to follow along with me, so let's get started.
Your Instagram is private. Gentlemen, if her Instagram is private and she doesn't have doctor before her first name, only way to deal with a woman who has a private Instagram is if she has doctor.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay, how old are you?
29.
29. We're talking about, we're talking about dating standards and rules of engagement. Are you single or are you married?
I am single.
Any kids by any chance?
3.
Damn.
All by the same father?
Yes.
Are you guys still together?
We are not.
Okay. So are you dating?
On and off I am. Right now I'm not.
Right. What did you have on the topic?
So you asked the last lady about like the first time that it should be like a touch or like intimacy touch.
Breaking the touch barrier. How long? How long before first deep kiss? And how long before sex?
Well, I'm more of a person who believes in like instant like connection, like an instant contact. So like I feel as though if I've accepted a date from a guy, then like there has to be some type of physical connection there, because otherwise I wouldn't have, accepted the date.
Okay.
As far as like the intimacy touching, like,
so breaking the touch barrier on the first date?
I mean, like you didn't go into specifics as far as we can hold hands.
Specific, I said touch barrier, putting your hand on the smaller back.
Yeah, that can happen the first night. What if we go dancing or something? I'm just saying.
Okay, then kissing.
If the date goes well, it's okay to kiss on the first night.
Okay. Sex,
I would say like 90 days, because we're still getting to know.
90 days. This is a woman with 3 kids and she expects a man to wait 90 days.
Each other, and then on top of that, like I'm a firm believer, like it takes time to get to know somebody, and like I want to know where your head is before I give you my body.
See, that's what I don't understand, right? At what point do you truly know anything and everything there is to know about any individual? I mean, what can ever guarantee any of this? Otherwise, breakups and divorce wouldn't be a thing. Otherwise, you wouldn't be seeing a whole bunch of women filing for divorce. So how does that even make sense?
how many dates in a 1 week period are you talking about?
In a week, I would say I would on the average like 2.5, because the half may count for like maybe after a lunch date or something like that.
So in other words, she's looking to milk a guy dry. Well, let me back up a little bit, all right? She's looking to utilize a man's resources, i.e. having him buy her things, having him take her out to eat, do all of this stuff. And she just expect the guy to endure this for months before she considers having sex with him. And this is a woman that's 29 with 3 children.
Okay. So that's 2.5 dates a week. That's 5 dates every 2 weeks. That's 10 dates a month. That's 30 dates. A man needs to take you on 30 dates before he has sex.
Yeah, but I mean, the dates don't have to be like public dates. Like we can stay in the house and talk, cook dinner.
Ain't nobody want to talk to you. Men don't want to hear you. Come on now. What are you talking about? Sit in the house and talk. Talk about what?
Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday afternoon. Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday afternoon. Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday afternoon. Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday afternoon. Times 3. Then, why?
Why what? Why wait the 90 days?
Well, you said, I'm just going on, I'm asking.
Oh, why
Yeah,
would
because
you
Tuesday,
wait?
Thursday, Sunday afternoon, that's 2.5 dates. And that's 5 dates every 2 weeks, or it's 10 dates a month. Times 3 months, that's 30 dates. Whether they're public or not. What's the logic there?
The logic is I'm still trying to get to know you.
Oh,
That is the
oh.
thing. Before I give my
What do
before
you
I
need to know about me? What do you need to know about your date before you decide to have sex with them?
well, I want to know a lot of stuff. I want to know long-term goals, short-term goals. I mean, I want to get to
Are
know
you
like
dating? Are you dating? Are you looking to get?
So she just want to know everything. I mean, she think that she's just going to get it all and it's going to be stamped, sealed, and nothing could be changed after that. This is a woman with 3 kids. Did I mention that?
Married?
And she's
I
never been
am.
married.
Um, are you, when you start dating, are you planning on dating with the intention to be married?
Yes, I have to say yes.
Are you a wife?
I am not at the current moment.
So you're looking to waste men's time, again, having them utilize their resources, buying you things, and you just openly admitted that you're not ready or willing or able to be a wife. So why would, and you're 29. So if some miraculous way you were able to find a man who liked you enough to put a ring on your finger, you're not ready for any of that. Come on.
Now you got to understand where men are coming from. A woman has 3 children, and you expect a man to wait
Yeah,
30.
she did like this. It didn't even phase her. She don't see a problem with that because she's owed something, whether it comes from her baby's father or some other man. But if another man comes in and mix, she's like, oh yeah, you're gonna take care of my 3 kids that I had by another man, even though you get nothing out of it, and this is much more of a liability for you. And this is an investment that you get no returns, but you're still gonna take care of my 3 kids and me. Sounds like a great men. This is a great deal, okay? So, especially if you're a high earning man, you need to wife her up and take care of her kids. You have to.
dates.
Yeah, why not? I'm just saying, like, why not? I mean, my amount of children shouldn't have to do with when I'm going to open my legs.
Why do y'all think that?
I mean, because that's what at the end of the day, I shouldn't be judged on how many kids I have. Like, I still have
Yes, you
morals and
should.
values.
Yes, you should.
Why should I?
Because it matters to us men.
Okay, but that's like vice versa. Like, what if
No,
a
no,
man?
no, man. Okay, man. Okay. We were doing just fine. I've answered the question directly. Because it matters to us men. You had 3 children by men that you did not even marry. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now you're talking about if I decide in the future I want to date towards marriage. That means you're not looking for a husband. You're looking for a stepfather before a husband. He'd have to be a stepfather.
No, I'm not looking for a stepfather before.
Okay, you need to hold on and pump your brakes because he would be a stepfather. And he'd have to be a stepfather before he's your husband because that job, and do you want to have any additional kids?
I don't.
Okay, so a man would come into your world and have to be a stepfather to 3 children, and he would not even get his own child.
That's a really great deal, guys. That's a great deal because you have to take care of her kids, right? Her kids. I mean, it makes perfect sense, right? But you don't get kids of your own. But you have to take care of another man's 3 kids.
He would need to wait 90 days and put in 30 days. Fine.
But
Man, fine, but I got one question. Why are you so expensive?
I mean, look at her. She's a queen. She's a queen, guys. Come on. You have to take care of her 3 kids and her.
I'm expensive because I have morals and values. Like, I'm just not out here.
No other woman has morals and values, but you do. That's what makes you very unique and expensive, because your morals and values. This is a woman with 3 kids that's never been married, but this is a woman with morals and values up until the point where her morals and values concluded that another man should come into the mix and take care of her 3 kids that she had by another man. And the new guy that may come into the mix doesn't get a child of his own. Yeah, that's a great deal. I mean, morals and values, of course. I mean, who could ever ask for anything less, right?
About to be dating or giving myself away to every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Like, that is not me. So,
Ma'am, do you realize that? So do you think your time frame of, hey, we can break the touch barrier first date. First date goes well, we can kiss, but wait, before we have sex, it's gonna take 90 days and 30 days. Do you think that?
And you need to tell me everything there is to know about you, because I need to make sure, okay, that you're going to be anything and everything I was to ever ask for. I mean, you have to be perfect all the way around. I will not accept nothing less. I will not accept or settle for less. Me and my 3 kids, because I have morals and values.
That is average, below average, above average, or in a high level of female requirement?
I would say it's probably average.
You think the average woman is waiting 90 days and 30 days?
It's probably less dates than that, but if they're not waiting 90 days, I just don't know. They just
We're in a hookup economy. We're in a Netflix and chill economy. And I got to go back to it, man. Men don't understand why women like yourself don't understand that your children make you less valuable.
So can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Do you have children?
Oh, gosh. What does that have to do with your situation? Huh? Come on now. You're just trying to deflect and avoid all of the nonsense that you've gotten yourself into. And you know you've gotten yourself into a lot of nonsense.
Doesn't matter.
No, I'm really, like, I really...
It doesn't matter. A
Why
woman
doesn't it
having
matter?
children, because it doesn't matter.
And this is classic, right? When you have women where, you know, you try to tell them the truth and they get so angry they can't take it, and what they revert to doing is fishing for any and every probable possible cause to discredit and invalidate you. A goddamn rogue scholar that won the goddamn Nobel couldn't tell this woman anything because of something in his background. Like I said, this is insane. This is absolutely insane. I mean, she knows she messed up, and instead of holding herself accountable, she's reverting to trying to discredit Kevin, which is certainly not the answer. She probably needs to look at her situation and better determine how she can better her situation if she's to find a decent enough guy who's wanting to take on 3 kids that she had by another guy.
Talking about you. Women with children are less valuable on this
So
sexual
you don't...
marketplace. It doesn't, the amount of it is a double standard. It's not the same for men.
Why isn't it, though?
Because you're not.
I mean, you don't understand why isn't it the same for men? A man could have 5 kids, but if that man is doing well for himself and he's able to take care of them 5 kids, you have to understand the man, he's the security, he's the stability, he's the foundation, he brings the bread home, he does all of that. He's the breadwinner, he's everything and more. And that's what you're getting, or at least hoping to get.
Supposed to be out here making babies out of wedlock. You're supposed to be with your child's father because women pay a higher price for having children.
And that's what I don't understand. You have 3 kids by a man. Why not just stay with him and work something out? It would make so much more sense to do that as opposed to being out here single, putting yourself at risk, your children at risk, because you can't get along and cooperate with your children's father. Come on now. What are you doing?
The same reason why nature tells you you have between so long and so long before nature shuts off your ability to have children. Not us. It's different for us. And my question is, why do you women argue with biology?
I mean, I'm not arguing with biology. It's just the simple fact that you were like, oh, you have 3 children, so like my value is just like
It's lower.
lower. But it's just like
It is.
men can
Okay. Do
go
you think
from
before you say that, I'll let you speak. Do you think what I'm saying is what the average man thinks? You having children out of wedlock, 1, 2, 3.
She's hoping to God. She's like, well, it's possible. And she just honestly, sincerely don't believe that this is generally how men think. And she's convinced that it's certainly not the case. That there is a man out there that's just ready to just come and take care of her and her 3 kids.
Makes your value lower than a woman, than the childless version of yourself.
No, I mean, I've heard that a time or two in my life.
Okay.
Okay, and if you had, it didn't persuade you to stay with the father of your children? I mean, seriously, come on now.
Do you think your sexual marketplace value with 3 children is the same as your sexual marketplace value with no children?
No.
Is it higher or lower with children?
I mean, I would say it's lower.
Okay, so why are we having this conversation if you understand that?
Because I want to know as far like why is it such a double standard? Because
we don't want to raise nobody else's kids.
But men come into a situation where they approach a woman and they have children from here to California.
That is the same.
Why isn't it the same though? Like they have to take
right. Okay, you asked because it is. Let me tell you why. Take it to the animal kingdom. When males take over new females, what do? They kill all the other cubs. The only ones that live are the females. A man's coming into your life. He'd have to come in there and pay the mortgage. Okay, let's say I was going to marry you, right? Let's just say I'm going to marry you. Let's say our rent is $3,000. Would you expect me to pay all the rent, all the mortgage, or half the mortgage?
If our rent was $3,000, I would expect for you to pay. See, I was raised different, but I would expect for you to pay, as a man taking the lead, all of it.
You see how she went to that as a man taking the lead? Now she's trying to do the whole shaming thing where it's like, no, as a man, because you're a man, right? I expect you to take care of all of it, 100%. Even she had to laugh when she said that.
Taking the lead, meaning what? So a man taking the lead, and guess what? I should really be paying $600.
Oh, why?
Because of your kids.
You live there.
You absolutely right.
Hold on, excuse me. You gotta listen. You want to know because you come with you and 3 people. I come with me.
It's funny.
3,000 divided by 5 is 6.
And she got miniature raptor claws going on there too.
$600. I got $600 worth of that living space. I ain't living in all those rooms. And see, that's the difference. And I don't even get a kid. See, that means I'm paying to raise somebody else's children. And let's just say, in my scenario, you decided to give me 1 child. And then I come to the table with food, a pizza that has 18 slices,
Pizza
and
analogy.
there are 4 children and 2 adults. That's 6 people. Uh, do you expect every person to eat equally? Each person get 3 slices?
Yeah, that'll fill you up.
Uh-huh. And that's bullshit because my kids should eat my food. Your children need to eat out of your out of your portion.
See, and
There
that's the
should be
thing.
no,
Like,
listen, this is how men think.
And to add to that, this is a woman that's not even wanting to give a new guy a child, but she expects the guy to come into the mix to take care of her and her 3 kids.
I should bring food for you, me, and my child. So that means I get 6 slices, my kid gets 6 slices, you get 6 slices. And if you want your 3 children from another man to eat, you need to take your 6 slices and divide it with them. We'll let that happen. And that's the problem because that's how men think. You want men to come in and provide all this because you're the head of house and you're this, and y'all do this stuff when y'all are living like rebels, having babies out of wedlock, not doing anything traditional, and then at the later point start talking this traditional stuff what a man's supposed to do. Well, a woman is supposed to be a wife before she is a mother, and she's supposed to stay. If you don't have that first, you can't say what a man's supposed to do.
Again, why not just go back to the father of your 3 kids and try to work something out with him? You had 3 kids by this guy. Come on now. What are you doing? It's so true. They don't stay. They don't stay. They leave. You got 3 kids by someone. Go back to them.
Thoughts?
I just think it's like a double standard. Like I said, like I just feel like men are out here dating as well, and they have multiple children. And I understand you saying like it's not the
Well,
same.
first off, not all men. First off, 54% of black men are single and childless. So not all men. Most men don't have any kids. 30% of black men are married. So the men who are out here with multiple children are roughly about 16 to 20% of men. But that just happens to be the men that y'all make babies with.
Or that just happens to be
She said, or.
the men who are out here looking for a woman that they think is going to help them out at the end of the day.
What?
Whatever
But
the
there
matter,
are men that
it
are out
doesn't
here
matter.
like
But the
that.
point of the matter, it doesn't matter. If you decide to date a man with kids, what's on you? Because 54% are single and childless. See, here's the better question. Why didn't you get married before you decided to have kids?
Me personally,
Yeah.
the question was never asked. But
What? What? You didn't require that of someone that you had 3 kids by? Come on.
Why would you give a man the greatest blessing a woman can give a man without him even having to make you his wife and give you his last name? You cannot
He made me tingle in the right spots.
ask a man to come along after you've done that and pay a higher price. He's going to pay less
True that.
or nothing. Not a man of value. The only man that will come along and do that is a man of lesser value. Because a man of higher value has options because he'd be looking for the childless version of you at best.
okay.
So the double standard, you ladies know this exists. And this whole thing about, and I want to go back to the point where you said, as the man, you would expect me to pay all of it.
But I mean, and then as your wife, I would come and say like, hey, like, let me help as well. Like, where did
You see how she's backtracking? Let me help as well. No, you said that you wanted him to cover 100%. You expected him to cover 100%. Remember, as a man, you expect him to cover 100%. The whole shaming thing, now you're backtracking. Come on now.
we fall short at?
As my wife, you're coming in with 3 whole people.
Okay,
You
and
listen,
before we
listen,
met,
as my wife, you would have to come in over performing. I gotta bring in my part. You gotta bring in your part and for all them kids. So you better be getting it from the baby daddy because I'm not gonna pay for all of them. And I don't even get a kid, so I'm gonna take care of this right here. It's because, man, do you not understand how you're basically shifting the responsibility of your baby daddy onto a man who you don't have kids with,
well,
just because he would happen to have the title of husband?
I mean, over time, that like when
What reality is she in where she's thinking that she could just create these policies and procedures and they're just going to manifest themselves and it's just going to work because she created it and therefore it's law? Like, does she really expect someone is going to meet her and want to have a relationship, a standing relationship with her after hearing all of this? Come on now.
that goes back to dating. Like over time, those relationships will have to like develop as far as like, okay, we're dating, this is serious, like there has to be a conversation with my future husband and my kid's father. There will have to be a conversation as far as like,
What? So you're saying that they're gonna all sit down at a table so that there could be a some sort of agreement or understanding? If a new guy is coming into your life, what man would want to subject themselves to that? Why would any new man want to be involved with any of that? You're just making things more difficult.
like boundaries, what he should, what a man.
Boundaries? What? So let's get this straight. You expect a man to come into the mix, take care of you and your three kids, and you expect to set boundaries for that man and for the father of your three children. And you expect everyone to have a generalized understanding and agree to these terms. I don't know what man is going to want to be demoralized and emasculated to that caliber and having to take care of your three kids and you.
Conversation like, hey, I know these are your children, like however I would like to marry her. And
He's not your dad. Why does he have to ask your children's father his blessing to marry you? Oh my gosh.
So in other words, I gotta go to another man to ask him to be a man in my own house?
no, that's not what I'm saying.
You just
What
said
what,
that.
what boundaries?
You financial boundaries,
Okay. Okay,
and it
financial
shouldn't
balance.
even
I don't
be
need to.
in
Okay, man, hold on. I don't need to have any conversation with that man about boundaries in my house.
you absolutely right. However, I do still believe that a conversation should be had about like, like this is my wife, I'm going to take care of our household. However, like these are still your children, so I don't expect for you to lack in any responsibility.
What? You expect a guy to come into the mix and talk down on your children's father. So, in other words, you're trying to put some other guy that comes into the mix into a situation where you're trying to put him at odds with the father of your children. That Why would a man come into the mix and try to tell your children's father what to do and what he expects from your children's father? How the hell does that make sense?
What do you mean?
They're your children. As far as the children go.
Give me an example. I don't know what that means.
So
That
like,
means he can make rules in my house?
no, I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is when it comes, if me and my future husband, who I did not bear children with, um, decides to marry me, and we do this whole thing, then I feel as though the conversation needs to happen between my future husband and
I
my kid's
understand that.
father.
What's the conversation though, between the men?
The conversation should be, I future husband should say, I know that I am marrying into this, this situation that you guys have going on. However, like, I don't expect for you to lack just
Man,
because
you're
you
still
have
not
father's
clear.
name.
Okay, you keep saying the same thing. It's not any more clear. What does lack mean? What does that mean?
Like, I don't expect for you to fall short on taking care of your
Fall
responsibilities
short
when it comes
meaning
down to
what?
children.
Fall short meaning what?
It could be, like I said, financially. It could be as far as
You
like
mean
your
you mean
weekend
to mean that
pickups
this
and
How the hell is that your new imaginary boyfriend husband's problem? If the father of your children is not doing anything for whatever reason, let's just assume that he's not paying child support. How is that your imaginary husband's problem to be involved with that and talk down to him like you better take care of your responsibility? What kind of nonsense is that? Come on now.
Now,
stuff like that.
hold on. Man, don't get upset that you're not making it clear. Fall short. You mean the child support he's paying?
It could be that, yes.
Then what else?
It could be something as simple as like weekend visitations or something
That's
like
set by
that.
the court.
Huh?
That's set by the court.
I know, but would I mean, I wouldn't want my future husband to be like, okay, now that I'm your husband and these are my stepchildren, they can no longer see their father.
That's
Like,
a court order.
Yeah.
I understand that. But what I'm saying,
that ain't how men. That's not how men
What?
move.
What?
There's a court order. You're paying child support. His visitation. Take your kids. Bye.
Yeah.
yeah, but I still believe as though it's out of respect though. Like,
Well, out of respect to what? See,
that's the
this,
kid's father.
and this is why y'all need to marry y'all's children's father, because you want two men to come to an agreement on how to be men, because you could not sit your hot ass down and marry somebody and be a wife. I'm supposed to have to talk to this man about how I'm going to be a man in my own house. No. Fuck no.
That's not what I'm trying
The
to
kids
say.
are in the house. Can I?
That sound like what you said to me.
Can I discipline the children like they're my own, since I gotta pay for them?
Yes.
I can whoop their ass.
Yes.
Do I need to get your permission?
No.
Do I need
Like,
to get
we're
his
husband and
permission?
wife.
Do I need to get his permission?
No.
And that's another thing, right? Even though she's saying that, just in a general sense, a man coming into a mix with kids and he ended up disciplining the kids turn around and tell the father, the biological father, now the biological father and the new stepdaddy, the imaginary stepdaddy she speaks of, they're going to be at odds and there's going to be a huge dispute. Why would a man put himself, it's too much of a liability.
What else do they talk about? Because the problems don't tend to be
3
between
kids.
men. The problems tend to be between the woman being in the middle. See, when men tend to talk, we tend to work it out, because as long as you take care of your kids, because he ain't trying. First off, anybody stepping into this with me, no offense, man, they're not getting a kid in the matter. So if they're stepping into this and they're paying more than 20%, they're getting screwed.
Yeah.
You should have the financial.
I would say 10% or 5%.
Those children that you chose to make should be self-sustaining by the man you chose to make them with. The man you choose to get with, because he's getting no kids, at best should have to pay 20% of 20% of the lights, mortgage, gas, utilities, groceries, whatever, and whatever. And if that's not
And she's going to have to overperform. She's coming into the mix with 3 kids. You better be one amazing person, but that goes back to his earlier question. I mean, your morals and values that you had mentioned, those are not morals and values.
y'all don't seem to understand that men are not raising nobody else's kids. And this is in Black America in particular. Black women have gotten to the point to where you guys almost expect black men to just be stepdaddies.
Yeah.
And when we tell you to no, y'all are like, what? What?
Oh, yeah. And then the shaming and the guilting comes, Oh, you ain't no man. And in the Bible, it says this. They just went past all the other stuff about marriage and all that. They just, they start believing all of this other nonsense, the convenient cherry picking analogy. It's just, no, I'm only going to cherry pick what's convenient, and everything else, 99% of everything else that's listed in the Bible and that's detailed in the Bible, I'm going to ignore that. But just these little hand-picked pieces within the Bible, they sound good for me to try to find a sucker to come in to help me raise these 3 kids.
All our kids are out of wedlock. We didn't say we want this shit. I mean, what's the next highest out of wedlock group? Other women know to marry their children's father. The next lowest married group is white women at 54%. They're twice as married as you guys.
And you're coming into the mix with 3 kids. I just can't get over that. 3 kids. So it's already bad enough that black women marry at about 28%. And this is all black women across the board in the U.S. Old, young, but it's mainly younger black women with no kids. You're not seeing a lot of older black women with children getting married. That's very rare. It happens, but it's rare. You hear about shark bites, they happen, but it's rare.
And you got all these kids and they'll say, well, the man didn't ask. Do you make room for the possibility, ma'am, that you're going to die unmarried?
I have I've thought about it a time or two.
Okay. Well, that's far more likely. Especially with today. Men are not signing up to be stepfathers because I'm going to ask you, what is the advantage for a childless man to come in to be a stepfather in a situation like yours or just in general?
Ooh, good
What's
question.
The advantage to the man?
Can't wait to hear this.
Well, some men
some
men do want kids, but maybe
their own kids.
Yeah, they want their own children.
Right, but what if they can't have them?
The what if factor.
Most men want their own children. So we're going to go with the case.
The large majority.
Overweight women got thyroid. Stick to the norm. What's the advantage for a man to?
I honestly never heard a man say, "Oh, I want kids by some other guy." No, men want their own kids, even if they have to pay a damn surrogate.
Your family with another man. What's the advantage to him? See that sigh, gentlemen? That sigh was that sigh of there ain't one. And they don't want to say it because they love their kids. I get it. But there is no
The nervous giggle. You can't get enough of it, right?
advantage. Matter of fact, stepfathers are looked at as suckers today. You know why?
You think so?
Yeah.
Because that's the way women have made it. When I was coming up, stepfathers were at least respected in the community. Today, stepfathers looked at as simps and suckers. And it's not because men have changed, it's because of the way women look at men and treat men have changed.
Yep.
I never looked at it that way.
Maybe.
Well, here you go. And that's the thing. You've taken things from your perspective, from your point of view, and you haven't sat back and really heard things from a man's perspective. And these are the men that you're targeting. So it's good to start really taking notes, because you might have to rearrange and re-strategize, because you're certainly in for it. You are in for it. You're going to have to bring a lot more to a relationship, especially if you want to be married. Especially if you want to convince a guy to marry you and take on 3 kids.
I get it.
Being a sucker.
But okay, what's the advantage in what is the advantage of being a stepfather? And I was like, what's the advantage? Do you think stepfathers are respected today in the Black community?
Yeah, I don't think they're being looked at as no suckers though. Like,
Oh, they are. I mean, they are. They are. That's what it's turned to. That's what it's turned to, because we have a lot of women in our community that are leaving the fathers of their children, and in your case, 3 kids, and you're going out hoping that a man take you on, and let's say for some miraculous reason you hit the lottery, which is very rare, but you hit the lottery and you found a guy that was ready to marry you and he married you. That's crazy. That's insane. Because people are like, well, here's a woman that couldn't even get along and cooperate with the father of her children. A stepfather is lower than that. A stepfather is lower than the father of your children in terms of the level of respect he's probably going to receive from you and probably your kids.
No, yeah. Yes. I'm going to stand strong and firm
You
on
can
that.
stand
Yes.
strong
I'm
and
gonna
firm on
stand
everything I
strong
got,
and
I
firm.
want you to go ask 100 black men who were stepfathers, and then get their answers. And I'm gonna tell you, as a black man who was one, I'm tell you, it's not. It's a thankless job because the child knows that you have no real power. The woman knows that those kids are hers, and at any time, she can choose to change things up. Men are just acknowledging it.
But that's why a
We're not-
conversation, that's exactly what me going back to the point, like a conversation needs to be had.
No, the conversation.
Yeah, between you and the children of their father, not between you and another guy and the children of your father. Or the children, is the main important thing for you and for the father. So the two of you are going to have to try to work something out.
Hey, yeah, here's the conversation. You go complete the family you started. That's the conversations that need to be had in the black community. You go get back with your man you made these babies with, and y'all gone off and get out of here. Let the single people get together.
Yeah.
That's the conversation we need to have in the black community. Finish the family you started.
I get that too. That is a real conversation.
There's not.
You better hurry up before he end up marrying someone else. Because, once he's with someone else and, the likelihood is very slim at that point.
That's the thing. There's not a tool. That's the only way, because here's the next part. Here's the punchline. Go in my scenario where if you don't find a man who wants to marry you, are you making 3 times the amount a man makes? Because you got 3 kids. See, normally you need to make at least what you need to have what a woman is making, what a man is making. But with 3 kids, you need to make 3 times that. Are you making over $110,000 a year?
Not yet.
Not yet.
How much at age 65, when you hit retirement age? How much cash will you need to live between 65 and 85?
How much cash would I need?
Mm-hmm. How much money we need to survive for 20 years, 65 to 85? What do you think? Just ballpark.
I don't honestly know.
Just ballpark. 20 years. What do you think?
Probably around maybe
She has no clue.
75K. I'm just playing.
What?
Oh no.
75,000?
Over the
Yeah, about
wow.
that.
Okay, 75,000 for 20 years is 3,000, less than $4,000 a year. That's $400 a month.
Oh no.
You need
Yeah.
millions.
How much you gonna need to live for 20 years?
At least 2 to 3 million.
I'm not sure. You give me your ballpark.
Oh, well, no, man, this is your life. This is your life. This is your life.
And that's the thing, she's laughing and everything. I get it. Part of it is probably her being nervous and knows that she's in a bit of a pickle. But in another sense, it's like, take it serious. Take it serious. Engage more because, you're sitting back, you have the hoodie on, and me just looking in and you engaging with Kevin, it doesn't appear that you're taking any of this serious. And you have 3 kids.
Um. All right, we can take it up to like 400K.
Ma'am, you're going to need about 1.9 million.
Not millions.
Elderly care costs, ma'am. You got to pay mortgage. You got to pay utilities. You got to pay health care. You got to pay.
I think I just seen it too. I mean, she has a dog, so she's off to a good start, I guess. Because it's looking more bleak and it's looking more and more like it's going to be going down that road. So
Food, life costs, elder care costs. It just gets expensive to age. So that's my point. So as a woman, you're not even thinking about how much money it's going to cost when you can no longer work, when you physically can't work anymore. So it's like, well, uh, I'm gonna need $75,000. No, millions. You're going, and who's going to pay that? You didn't work with a man.
oh no, they're opting for meager government assistance. That's usually what it boils down to at the end, and hoping that it's going to be around during that time.
To share the resources, to share the load, to invest, to get life insurance and all that stuff. You're choosing to be a single woman with 3 children. That means you got to be choosing to make $110,000+ a year and then saving that just to break even. So tell me how not getting married is an option. This is I guess what I'm trying to get a lot of women to understand. Your life is a ticking time bomb.
Mm-hmm.
This is what happens when you make all the babies and don't get married.
Might want to
Is this
think about
country
it.
set up for single people to retire on their own?
It's definitely not.
Well, then how do y'all think y'all gonna do it? I just don't want to think about it. I just don't want to think
I
about
mean,
it.
it is something to think about.
Time is ticking.
Then why don't you go back to your child's father and y'all just marry each other? Y'all started a family.
It can't just happen like that.
Well, then
I mean, you wrecked your own home. You wrecked your own home. You don't think it's wise to try to fix it? You have to set aside your attitude and your emotions, and you have to try to fix what you broke and what you disrupted and try to get your family back together. I mean, you have 3 kids by the guy. What are you doing? You're out here trying to date and find a guy trying to take that on?
if you can't
There
get
has to be if that was an option for me, there would have to be a lot of counseling.
For you. For you.
ma'am, I don't care what it would take. That's the family. Listen. This may sound cold, but ma'am, you got 3 kids. 1 out of 4 black women will marry in their lifetime, and you got 3 kids. So your chance is probably around about less than 10%, easy.
If
Less
that.
than 10%. You don't want to have no more kids. I'm gonna say around about 5 to 7%. This is what you made, man. Counseling, I don't care. Counseling, you live in different parts of the house. Y'all better. He's paying rent, you paying rent. Y'all better figure something out because you got a whole lot of kids.
Yeah. Even if y'all have to have your own rooms or something, it makes more sense both short term and long term for the 2 of you to get back together. So set aside your grievance, set aside the nonsense that's happening in your mind, and try to get your family back together. It's the only thing that can really save yourself and your kids. It's not
This
funny.
is real talk,
It's
man.
not
That's real
funny.
talk. And
I know it may be a nervous
it's
laugh,
sad
but
that you gotta
damn.
have one man keep telling women this because where's your mother?
Around the corner.
Is she married?
She is.
To your father?
No, my father has passed away.
Okay. What is your mother? Is your mother encouraging you to get married?
She
Nope.
does,
Did your
but
mother teach you, were you raised to be a wife? Nope.
you don't know that.
Oh yeah, I do. Because if
Why?
you
'Cause I
were,
got
And the outcomes show it. What do you mean? Because if you were raised to be a wife, you would be with the father of your children.
ma'am,
kids.
I do know, because all I have to do is look at the situation. You're raised to be a wife, you wouldn't have 3 children out of wedlock. That's no offense, man. That's any woman. Any woman that's raised to be a wife tends to get married because women who are raised to be wives are in high demand. We don't have enough wives for the husbands today. We got plenty of women who want to get married, but we don't have enough wives. Wives are in high demand. They get taken like this. Wives don't marry, and the wives don't have babies out of wedlock. Wives don't do 10-year relationships, 3-year, 5-year, 7-year relationships without wedding rings. They don't do none of that. Wives ain't on Instagram with their ass all out and different color weaves and long. Wives ain't doing none of that shit. Wives ain't got tattoos and fake floppy. Wives don't have none of that.
And you could tell that she fits the criteria of a lot of that. So not only does a guy have to come into the mix, have to take on 3 kids, a sketchy baby father, a sketchy woman, but then a woman that have long nails and all of this other stuff going on. So it's a lot. It's a lot.
Wives have none of that. Every time you see a woman, men know when they're looking at a wife. You're either a wife or it's everything else. That's the way men come down to it. So good conversation though, man. But you and your man, y'all got a whole posse.
Not a posse.
I got a whole posse. Take it easy. Bye.
Alrighty.
All right, y'all. I'm going to post the original Instagram link in this video's description. This was insightful because this goes to show you where we are in our ethnic image and what men have to deal with and what men are subjected to. We're subjected to women who will dig deep, and they were at a point where we would be shamed and insulted in order to take on children of other men. So this was a great video, and you know, this was highly insightful, and I hope to hear from you also. Until the next time, peace.